I'll say it plain from the jump. In Trinidad, discipline don't feel like self-respect. It feel like oppression. Not metaphorical oppression either. I talk in real emotional resistance. Tell a man he have to wake up 5 a.m. every day. Suddenly, you're treating him like indentured labor. Tell a co-worker deadlines matter. Now you two on top people. Tell somebody stop buying doubles every morning and start saving. Now you counting people money. And if that line hit you a little uncomfortable, good. Subscribe now. Because this podcast built for discomfort, not comfort. This ain't vibes, this is mirrors. And some of Alia don't like mirrors. Discipline in Trinidad is treated like betrayal. Not growth, betrayal. You ever notice how fast people get defensive when routine enter the conversation? You mentioned gym. Nah boy, I had to enjoy life. But enjoying life somehow always look like rum, fried food, and zero long-term planning. You mentioned studying after work. My brain tired. But that same brain could scroll TikTok for 3 hours straight with Olympic stamina. You mentioned budgeting. Money come to spend. But when rent due, now the system wicked, the government wicked, life wicked. But your spending habits? Saintly. If that's sounding like somebody you know, share this episode with them. Don't argue with them. Send the mirror. Let the audio do the confrontation. Because discipline only feels like oppression to people addicted to comfort. And comfort real seductive here. I see it from school days. Teacher enforcing uniform rules. Students moving like they're in a military regime. Because ironing clothes feel like punishment. Reaching school on time feel like human rights violation. Homework feel like forced labor. But the same students could memorize every dance move, every song lyric, every football stat. So it wasn't capacity lacking, it was discipline rejection. And that mindset don't graduate, it migrate. It enter workplaces. You ever manage staff in Trinidad? You don't even have to be strict, just consistent. And that alone is enough to make you the villain. You document lateness, now you have a problem. You enforce lunch hour return times, now you targeting people. You ask for productivity, now you doing the most. Because here's the truth nobody likes saying out loud. In Trinidad, discipline is interpreted as disrespect. If you correct behavior, people feel you attacking their dignity, not improving their performance. So growth conversations die before they even start. And if you ever supervise people and felt this frustration building in your chest, hit subscribe now. Because every episode here putting language to things you've been feeling but never hearing said publicly. You ever watch payroll day energy versus workday energy? Payroll day, punctuality perfect. Workday, lateness epidemic. So discipline exists, but only when money directly attached. Which means the capability there, the willingness, just selective. And selective discipline never builds stable systems. You see it in public offices too. Go licensing office. You reach early, you prepared. Documents organized. You thinking process moving smooth. Then you realize preparation don't speed up undisciplined systems because the person behind the desk moving at emotional pace, not professional pace. Lunch break stretched longer than parliament debates. Files getting lost like socks in washing machine. But if you show frustration, you rude. Not the inefficiency, you. If that experience ever drain your soul, share this episode. Because we documenting cultural patterns people pretending not to see. Let's get more personal. Family dynamics. You ever try upgrading your habits and watch the resistance? You start waking early. Family asking, why you rushing life? You start saving money. Now you cheap. You stop liming every weekend. Now you boring. Nobody questions the man drinking rum 3 nights straight. But drink water, read books, mind your business. Now you acting strange. Because your discipline exposes their indiscipline. And people don't like feeling exposed. So they disguise sabotage as jokes. Boy, you turn motivational speaker now? No, he just turned intentional. And if you, the disciplined one in your circle, feeling isolated, subscribe. Because this podcast, your psychological company. You not alone. You just operating on a frequency that make others uncomfortable. Workplaces amplify this tension heavy. You ever notice efficient workers get slowed down intentionally? You finish tasks early. Now you getting extra work instead of recognition. You punctual, but promotions going to social butterflies. Because disciplined workers threaten lazy hierarchies. Your structure making others look bad. So instead of elevating standards, they neutralize you. And after a while, you either leave or mentally clock out. Because discipline in dysfunctional environments feels like punishment. Let me paint some real micro scenes I know too well. Man say he won't start business, but sleeping till 10 a.m. watching Crime Watch reruns. Liming by parlor till midnight. Researching, never. Planning, never. Executing, rarely. But when business fail, country hard. Never his routine. Students say school pointless, but only opens book night before exam. Stress self-manufactured, then blame syllabus. Employee want promotion, but does bare minimum daily. Then cry favoritism when overlooked. We interpret outcomes as injustice instead of reflections, because discipline forces self-accountability, and accountability heavy. So we avoid discipline to avoid confronting ourselves. Discipline feels oppressive only to undisciplined minds. Structure threatens people benefiting from chaos. Accountability sounds like disrespect to fragile egos. Consistency exposes performative productivity. Comfort is Trinidad's most protected addiction. Pause this episode if you had a. Let that marinate. And if one of those statements hit you personally, good. Growth always starts with discomfort. Subscribe before you forget, because next episode going deeper than this. We don't do surface conversations here. We do psychological excavations. Here's the deeper layer. We psychologically associate discipline with punishment. From slavery history to colonial schooling to authoritarian parenting, structure always came from external force. So subconsciously, we resist it, even when self-imposed. Freedom becomes chaos instead of responsibility. But real freedom requires discipline. Otherwise, you're just drifting through life reacting instead of directing. And drifting never built nations. That's why we copy foreign systems but can't replicate foreign results. We import structure, but reject the mindset sustaining it. We want infrastructure without internal discipline. That math never mathing. And deep down, everybody knows disciplined people succeed more consistently. But instead of emulating them, we ridicule them, call them boring, too serious, antisocial, because mocking discipline easier than adopting it. But ridicule never built anything. Routine did, sacrifice did, consistency did. And here's the final uncomfortable layer. We resent discipline collectively because it demands cultural evolution. It forces upgraded standards, upgraded accountability, upgraded expectations, and upgrades uncomfortable. They require leaving old norms behind. But nostalgia strong. We romanticize struggle instead of eliminating it. We defend dysfunction because it's familiar. But familiar don't mean functional. So discipline feels oppressive because it dismantles comfort illusions. It removes excuses. It reveals wasted potential. And nobody likes confronting wasted potential, especially when self-inflicted. So before you exit this episode, before you scroll to the next distraction, ask yourself honestly, do you hate discipline or do you hate what discipline reveals about you? If this episode hit home, share it with somebody who always saying life hard but habits soft. Subscribe if you're ready for conversations that challenge comfort, not massage it. Because every week we holding mirrors society pretending don't exist. Reflect honestly, think critically, and as always, ask yourself